Hey everybody, welcome back to the show. Glad you could join me here today. I hope that I've got a great show for you here. We're going to be going over 2 product reviews. So book review will be skipped this week. I want to go over, sometimes I like to do a follow-up on different products I've recommended before. This one, near and dear to me, since I was dealing with some knee pain, I want to share with you one simple fix that I did. Knee pain is gone within 24 hours. It's a simple one. Took me a couple weeks to really jog my memory as to like, why is this happening? I'll give you that solution so you can share it with others, of course. A brand new, I don't know if it's a health tech product, but it's a health product you'll absolutely use, or someone in your family will use that. Big upgrade on a product I've been using for the last 15 years. So huge industry upgrade. That'll be product review number 2. And then 2 research studies. I've been finding some great research to be able to share with you over the last couple of weeks. At least I think it's great. Hopefully you do as well. This one today on a really simple trick that you can do if you're trying to lose a few pounds, nothing crazy, but a few pounds, as to how you can manipulate that eating window. And I want to share that with you. And then another one to decrease stress and improve your overall sleep. And this is a really a great controlled trial. And so that means it can be replicated over and over, and it has. So here we go. Let's kick it off. Last week, if you missed any shows over the last week, 3461 was the show, and it was 5 factors to follow to become mentally strong. So if you're looking to overcome overwhelm and anxiety and worry, great show for you. Follow these 5 things that mentally strong people do, and we try to model those, right? And we can just get better and better. We don't need to be perfect, but we can get better. On Tuesday's show, we did the new glyphosate. So remember, they got rid of BPA a bunch of years ago, right? What do they replace it with? Just things that are equally toxic, right? And that is exactly what they're doing now with glyphosate. I give you the names of the 4 things to watch out for. That is the names they're being replaced with. I have no doubt in my mind, they're most likely equally as toxic. All right, Wednesday's show was an advanced weight loss protocol. So if you've already tried eating less food, and you've already tried exercising more, I give you specifically 5 steps. You can follow all of them or just one of them, or what I recommend is kind of just moving through the 5 as needed. And it's going to allow you to push past plateaus on your weight loss journey. They work. Trust me, we've been doing this now for many, many years, and I know it's going to work for you too. So just work the process. The nice thing about weight loss is that with my clients, I tell them you never need to do more than what is required. So let's start with less. And as needed, every time we plateau, we've got another lever to push down on, and it works great. So that's my recommendation. And then also, you're able to then keep the weight off forever, for as long as you want, right? That's the big one. All right, yesterday, one of my favorites, because I love interesting research. So I brought you some research. The show is, this boosts your immune system by 80% in just 3 days, 2 nights. That's it. That's how long it took to boost this specific immune cell by 80%. Remarkable. Anybody can do it. It's basically free. It's essentially free. All right. So check out those shows all at stephencabral.com/podcasts. All right. First product review. And again, I probably should have brought them with me right now so I can go and grab them. But what I'll do is I'll just pop them up on the screen. We have an amazing video editor, and hopefully by the magic of video, he can pop them up here. But I've done Friday reviews before on arch supports. So I had ones that I just purchased from Amazon, and I went with the medium. So if you don't know if you need a high arch support or a low arch support, just go middle ground, go medium for the most part. That's my recommendation for most people. You can do all sorts of different tests for it. You can, if you walk in the sand and you see basically your whole footprint, that's a pretty low arch. So you need to go higher, right? You need a high arch. If you can see maybe some of the arch, meaning like there's some not footprint, okay, medium. And if you only see really the outside of the foot and then your ball of your foot, your toes and your heel, you probably have a high arch. You don't need arch supports, right? So you go with a low one. So here's though, I did another Friday review. I think so much of this that there's a company where they send you a foam package. You put it on the floor inside of cardboard. You step into it, and then they create a molded arch support for you. My wife got this for me for, I think, Christmas, like literally Christmas or my birthday. And so they came, and I've used them, and they work great. They're a little bit more rigid. They're a little stronger. So definitely for people who really need arches. Now, here's the thing. You might say to yourself, what do you need arches for? What do you need arch supports for? You should just train barefoot. You should just strengthen your feet. Listen, I get it. I understand. I totally get it. Here's the thing. I don't need arch supports except when I go on long runs. And then what happens is I don't need them until I do. So when my body starts to get tired, like most people, Your weak points start to give first. And so my calves aren't necessarily my weak point. My quads, glutes aren't necessarily my weak point, but my arches are. And some of these things are slightly genetic. It's just, it is what it is, right? And so I started to get knee pain again it's called the patellofemoral region. So it's on the inside of the knee. And I won't get deep into that. So I probably have a podcast on it, truthfully, from a few years back. And I said, okay, I'm doing barefoot cone touches. I'm doing all sorts of things, and it's not going away. And I think back and I'm like, I had this a year and a half ago. How did I get rid of it? Oh, that's when I first added arch supports. And then I looked at my sneakers, and usually you want to buy new running sneakers every 300 miles. These ones were about 200 miles. I still had some miles, and I don't like to waste money just like anybody else. My sneakers were way too broken down. Some sneakers break down more than others, especially if they're cushiony ones, because I was running a lot outside, and so I wanted a more cushioned sneaker. Here's what I did. Replace my sneakers, replace the arch supports, knee pain gone in 48 hours. Gone. Literally gone. Didn't do anything else new except replace that. So if you're dealing with inside of the knee pain, it could be because your feet are pronated in or arches collapsing. Yes, strengthen your feet, do barefoot training, all sorts of great things. I'm not going to get into that on today's show. I can in the future if you're interested. But what I want you to do is I think it's like $49 on Amazon, or maybe it's like $99 for the custom ones. Try them out. Literally try them out. Get yourself a more, not rigid sneaker, but more rigid, something with more support rather than just cushion, to be able to keep that foot and ankle in place. And let me know if it works for you. All right. So that is that. I will link them all up today because I can link up these. They're not nutritional supplements. They're not anything like that. They're not curing disease, right? We're not talking about that. So I'll give you the links today at episode 3465. And of course, if I ever find any deals for you, I'll get you those deals as well. All right, let's go to now our second product review of the week, which is waiting right behind me for me to grab it. I'm going to grab it right now. So I got this, and I would say, anticipating its release, because for the last 15 years or so at stephencabral.com/resources, that's where all my resources live. For my daughters, and even my pets, like my French bulldogs before that, we had this big globe. And the globe you attached below your faucet, like your bath faucet, right? Where the water comes out of. Because your bath water is filled with heavy metals, pharmaceuticals, literally pharmaceuticals. I write about that in the rain barrel effect. It certainly has chlorine, potentially fluoride, and these things can be partially absorbed through the skin. And either way, they're not great for eczema or skin rashes or anything like that too. So we've always used a filter. And it was a good filter, and it still is a good filter. That's why I tell you, like, if I ever upgrade anything in the future, it's not like the last thing wasn't good. It's just eventually things improve. Like, hopefully that's the way the world works. Every few years we get an improvement. So I always want to bring you the improvement. If you have the globe, nothing wrong with that. There's no issues with it, but this is an upgrade. That's for sure. So this is by Canopy. Here's the company right here. I have recommended their shower water filters before. So they make a shower head filter. That's, again, equally fantastic because you don't want to be getting all of these chemicals on your hair. It's not great for your hair to dry it out and make it more brittle, or skin, dry your skin too. Not good for psoriasis, eczema, etc. But also, it's just, you don't want that water in your body being absorbed. So they make one that's handheld and they make one that's fixed. It's great. We literally have it inside of our shower. Well, now they came out with, and I knew they were going to come out with this, but they came out with a bath filter. It looks kind of strange, but literally all it is silicone. I believe this is silicone, and it's lightweight. It's not heavy at all. You slide it right onto your bathtub. If you follow me on Instagram, I did a whole story about this. We gave my dog Bachi a bath. You slide it right on, and the water comes right down through this filter. You can see literally the filter right there. So it's super simple. It just pushes right onto your bath faucet filter. They have a couple adapters for it, so it doesn't go anywhere. The water comes out the bottom, and then it's clean water coming out the bottom. And I mean, it just happens in real time. So you turn down the flow just slightly, that's all. And what you get is an amazing filter. It's a carbon-based filter, has coconut shells, highly effective against impurities, calcium sulfate to reduce the chlorine in the water, and then kinetic degradation fluxion, which helps with copper and zinc to reduce other contaminants in the water. So yeah, like I said, it's pretty remarkable. It's easy to use. It even comes with, and I don't know if this was like a special edition or not, they've got a little towel here, for kids, which is kind of nice, or your dog. This would actually fit my dog. And then they give you a little bit of aromatherapy. And so it's essentially like essential oils or these little felt tabs that you can put on that you could put eucalyptus in your tub or whatever essential oils you like. So this is definitely the upgrade in my house. It is used. My girls don't take a bath as much. They're a little older now, but they certainly do sometimes. My wife definitely takes a bath sometimes. I'm not a big bath guy, but every once in a while, maybe. But we give my dog a bath too. And so it's always nice to have one in the house. We also have a lot of house guests over. They get little kids, and their kids now can make sure that they're not contaminated with chlorine and fluoride and all sorts of other things. So there you have it. I will link it up. And of course, usually we can get discount codes for you. We do have a discount code for Canopy, so we'll definitely get you that. They're not sponsoring this show, just to let you know that. And you can go to stevencabral.com/3465. I'll also update this on my resources page, and it's Dr. Cabral for 15% off, but I'll get you that link today in the show because that's the one literally that I use myself to buy these products. All right. So there we go. All right. Now on to the research study for the day. I love this one. This was a great one. It is an 8 to 10 hour time restricted eating improves glycemic control in metabolic syndrome. All right. So why am I bringing this to you when typically what I'm recommending is not more than 12 hours to 16 hours, right? So when you look at this, you say, all right, 8 to 10 hours means that someone is fasting for 14 to 16 hours. So it's a little on my higher end. Well, you have to remember that everything I give is always bio-individualized. So anyone we're working with, again, I don't want to give any medical advice, medical treatments, medical cures, medical diagnosis, but let's say someone is dealing with cancer, autoimmune, or other health issues that we need to get somebody deeper into autophagy, maybe even type 2 diabetes here. This is another example. We're going to shrink their window, and it's usually going to be from 6 at night to 10 o'clock in the morning. So we don't skip breakfast. We have breakfast about 9:30, 10 a.m. And then after that, lunch is around 1:30 and dinner's around 5:30. So it's like, because breakfast is an easy to digest liquid-based meal. And then lunch is a whole food meal, dinner's a whole food meal. So simple, super easy to follow. Our clients get great results. So this kind of follows that exact for what they're doing for those eating windows as well. But what I wanted to share with you is that it can be even more effective for clients with high blood pressure, high cholesterol, high blood sugar with metabolic-based syndrome, maybe even fatty liver, that have gone through this. So this was, pretty impressive. It's not magic, and I'm not going to say that it's magic, but with 108 adults that went through this with metabolic syndrome, median age was 59, so about 59 years old, 60 years old. BMI was about 31. So clinically, over 29, it's considered obese, not just overweight. So they were, again, a little bit more than they would want to in terms of ideal weight. And what they used was standard of care, so typical standard of care, plus Mediterranean-style nutrition, they were getting good nutrition, right? Or they were given the same standard of care, plus they were given a customized 8 to 10 hour time restricted eating window. And so this lasted for 12 weeks. And when you look at, if you were just to glaze over the study, you would say, okay, what did they look at? Well, they were looking at hemoglobin A1C. So that's your measure of blood sugar. So this is also why they made this study last 12 weeks, because in order to really move the needle for hemoglobin A1C, you want to do an intervention for 12 to 16 weeks, because then the red blood cells will turn over the majority in 90 days. That's why they can use 12 weeks. And this is the same thing we talk about in our practice, that, use the GLP-1 tone system for 12 to 16 weeks, use Metavol for at least 12 to 16 weeks, because that's one cell turnover. Ideally, you're using it for 2 to 3 cell turnovers. That's really what you want, because it's the cell membrane which ultimately allows sugar in or keeps it out. And we want to absorb it in, get it out of the bloodstream so blood sugar levels are not elevated. Well, here's what they found. When you look at it from afar, you're like, oh, it's really no big deal. It lowered hemoglobin A1C by 0.1 to almost 0.2. And you're like, that seems meaningless, except that hemoglobin A1C is normal in the 5.0, 5.1, 5.2, 5.3, up to like 5.4, 5.5 at the most. So if you're a 5.7, you're moving towards type 2 diabetic. And if you do this and you go down to a 5.5, it's game changing. All of a sudden, you went from pre-type 2 diabetic to all of a sudden now down to within a healthy zone. So it really does matter. Like 0.1 to 0.2, yeah, in the grand scheme of things, if you're looking at that for your blood pressure, it doesn't matter at all. If you're looking at it for cholesterol, it doesn't matter at all. But hemoglobin A1C, literally tenths of a point matter. And so what I would say to you is that although none of this is magic, try to work in, if you can, your own 12 to 16 hour window, but still get in 3 good quality meals per day, because it's so hard to get in 7 to 9 servings of fruits and veggies and enough fiber and other things that really make a difference as well. All right. And I've got lots of shows on nutrition, all for free at stephencabral.com/podcast if you want to check it out. And then I go in depth in my book, of course, in the Rain Barrel Effect. And definitely check out that book if you haven't. It is free. You just literally go to stephencabral.com/free book. And I would love for you to read that over the next couple of months. Again, it's free. You just pay for shipping. I pay to print the book, because my new book, I hope to have more details on it and hope to release it in December or January of this year. I'm going to work hard to make that happen. I can't promise that, but I'm going to work hard to make that happen. So read the Rain Barrel Effect first. It's the prequel to that. Okay. So last research study for the day. I know I'm close to my time. I'm going to share this with you, and then I'm going to link to the study. And if you've never heard of Yoga Nidra, it is a specific breathing-based technique. It's free to do, and it's also simple to do. But if you've never heard about it, what I'm going to do is I'm going to link up my previous podcast on Yoga Nidra, and I'm going to try to link up a YouTube video for you so that you can do this same 11-minute practice. And here's why. A randomized control study where participants participate in either 11-minute or 30-minute daily Yoga Nidra, yoga sleep is what it's nicknamed, versus an active control group listening to music, tracked over several weeks, found these key findings. Significant reductions, okay? Not mild, but significant reductions in perceived stress, anxiety, and depression. Also measured normalization of cortisol rhythms, highlighting improved physiological stress regulation. What does that mean? Stress, so cortisol is your stress hormone, your main one produced by the adrenal cortex, okay? Adrenal medulla helps to produce more of the neurotransmitter, norepinephrine, get your body fired up, increases heart rate, all those things. Cortisol, though, dumps more sugar into your blood, essentially. I mean, that's a really basic way to put it, but like not good for your blood sugar either. Cortisol high at night, what does it do? Throws off your thyroid the next morning, throws off your testosterone, causes low testosterone, causes high cholesterol, causes high blood pressure, doesn't allow you to sleep at night, lowers your natural killer cells in terms of cancer. So lowering cortisol at night is one of the most important things you can do. An 11-minute Yoga Nidra, easy breath work. You can fall asleep doing it. Check it out. I'm going to link it up here today, but it works. Randomized control study. And again, like these things work. I want to please keep sharing them with friends, family, loved ones. This is a grassroots movement. This is what it's all about. You can find details at stephencabral.com/3465 for today's product reviews on arch supports, good quality sneakers, the Canopy Bath Filter, which is my new little amazing health gadget, and then these 2 research studies for the week. Take care, everybody. I'll be back tomorrow with our Cabral host calls, answering all of our community's questions. Take care. Thanks so much for tuning into today's show. Before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I want to make sure that you're getting our daily content, not missing out on anything. Functional medicine, wellness, weight gain, weight loss, anti-aging, living longer, stronger, and all of the most cutting-edge research. And if there's any topics you want to hear, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Take care.